Yo, this is Afro, a.k.a. All Flows Reach Out, and you're listening to Built for This Network. Yes, sir. From the building, stay bomb.
Hey, yeah, we're the same brothers from a long time ago. We was talking about television and doing it on the radio. What we did was to help our generation realize they got to get out there and get busy because it wasn't going to be televised. We got respect for young rappers and the way they freewaying. But if you're going to be teaching folks things, be sure you know what you're saying. Older folks in our neighborhood got plenty of know-how. Remember, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be out there now. And I ain't coming at you with no disrespect. All I'm saying is that you damn well got to be correct. Because if you're going to be speaking for a whole generation and you know enough to try and handle their education, be sure you know the real deal about past situations and ain't just repeating what you heard on a local TV station. Sometimes they tell lies and put them in a truthful disguise. But the truth is, that's why we said it wouldn't be televised. They don't know what to say to our young folks, but they know that you do. And if they really knew the truth, why would they tell you? The first sign is peace. Tell all them gun-toting young brothers that the man is glad to see us out there killing one another. We raised too much hell when they were shooting us down, so they started poisoning our mind and trying to jerk us all around. And then they tell us they got to come in and control our situation. They want half of us on dope and the other half in incarceration. If the ones they want dead ain't killed by what they instigated, they can put some dope on the brother's body and claim it was drug-related. Tell them drug-related means there don't need to be no investigation, or at least that's the way they're going to play it on the local TV station. All your 9mm brothers, give them something to think about. Tell them you heard that this is the new word. They got to work that stuff out. Because somehow they feeling the wrong way with a gun in their hands. They feeling real independent, but they just pulling contracts with a man. 5 will tell you it's hopeless out there on the avenue, but if they really knew the truth, why would they tell you? And if they look at you like you're insane and they start calling you scarecrow and say you ain't got no brain, or start telling folks that you suddenly gone lame, or that white folks have finally co-opted your game, or worse yet, implying that you don't really know, that's the same thing they said about us a long time ago. Young rappers, one more suggestion before I get out of your way. But I appreciate the respect you give me and what you got to say. I'm saying protect your community and spread that respect around. Tell brothers and sisters they got to calm that bullshit down, because we're terrorizing our old folks and we brought fear into our homes, and they ain't got to hang out with the senior citizens. Just tell them, damn it, leave the old folks alone. And we know who ripping off the neighborhood. Tell them that BS has got to stop. Tell them you're sorry they can't handle it out there, but they got to take the crime off the block. And if they look at you like they think you're insane, or start calling you scarecrow thinking you ain't got no brain, or start telling folks that you suddenly gone lame, or that white folks have suddenly co-opted your game, or worse yet, saying that you really don't know, that's the same thing they said about me a long time ago. And if they tell folks that you finally lost your nerve, that's the same thing they said about us when we said Johannesburg. But I think you young folks need to know that things don't go both ways. You can't talk respect on every other song or just every other day. What I'm speaking on now is the raps about the women folks. On one song, she's your African queen, and on the next one, she's a joke. And you ain't said no words that I haven't heard, but that ain't no compliment. It only insults 8 people out of 10 and questions your intelligence. 4-letter words or 4-syllable words won't make you a poet. It will only magnify how shallow you are and let everybody know it. And if they look at you like they think you're insane, or they call you scarecrow thinking you ain't got no brain, or start telling folks that you suddenly gone lame, or that the white folks have finally co-opted your game, or you really don't know, they said that about me a long time ago. If they finally start telling people that you lost your nerve, that's what they said about Johannesburg. You ain't insane. You have got a brain. You haven't gone lame. You have got your game. Remember, keep the nerve. Keep the nerve. Keep the nerve. Keep the nerve. We're talking about peace.
Feeling myself, but I stay in my lane. I know you thinking you nice, but you sounding the same. He need to switch up his flow, but I know that he ain't. Shit, maybe he want to and probably can't. He talk a lot, but ain't saying a word. He's 16, sounding like he be lacing his herb. Reggie Rock told me time to just focus and spit. Quit worrying about the niggas abandoning shit. I dropped broken and they told me quit biting your tongue. The way you writing sounded like you forgot where you from. Say you from the hood, but you sound like a minister now. Yeah, I could take it there, but shit, I just like how this sound. I should address some of this drama, but letting it go. Shit, I can't keep playing with you niggas, I'm getting too old. The last words Bone told me I never forget. Quit playing with this music and do it to death. Shit, I came back.
You're now watching the End of the Bench podcast, Build and Destroy, hosted by your man, H-Rap-B.
Good evening. It's your man H-Rap coming at you live and direct. This is the End of the Bench live on the End of the Bench Media. This is Build and Destroy live on End of the Bench Media. Thank you for tuning in. It is great to see you. If you are watching, excuse me, sinuses, people, work with me. If you are watching live, please go. If you're watching live or indirectly or later on, what I want you to do is hit the thumbs up button if you're on YouTube. Hit the like button if you're on Facebook. If you're on www.thaendofdabench.com, I want you to go there and subscribe, and you can comment from there and interact with me live. This is not a dissertation. This is a conversation. This is the End of the Bench presents Build and Destroy, where I attempt to build up the community and destroy the lies and the propaganda that surround our community. I also ask 3 questions. What do we want? What do we need, and how do we get it? That's the only way we can achieve the ultimate goal of freedom that we want for all the people in the country, all the people in the world, but especially our nation. A lot of people get upset when I say our nation, but that's the end of the day. I can only speak for the people I deal with. I can only speak for my experiences. I can only speak for the people who I know who have been oppressed and detained from freedom for the last 400 years. Not all of us, because all of us that wasn't in captive to begin with, but we have faced. Most of us have viewed or have experienced the face or looked at the face of tyranny. So each Tuesday, I come live on YouTube at the End of the Bench, THAENDOFDABENCH Media, the End of the Bench Media. Or I'm on Facebook, Build and Destroy. It's a group called Build and Destroy. Seek it out. Join in. I'm trying to create a community, a culture, and put us in a situation to whereas we can galvanize our community and cut down on some of the unnecessary violence, unnecessary crime, unnecessary mayhem, and build our community up to the respectable people that we truly are, that we're born to be. Before I start the program, what I'd like to do is thank my ancestors. Who are my ancestors? Those are my parents and everybody connected to both sides of my family. On my father's side, my name, Brian Williams. H-Rap-B is my pseudonym. H-Rap-B. My name is Brian Williams. John Williams is my dad. That makes up half of me. The other half is made up by Dolores Pollard. That's my mother. They came together and created me. They say the best for last. But it's neither here nor there. But like I said, this is Build and Destroy. Because of who they are, this is who I am. And what do? I attempt to build up this community. I want to destroy the lies and the propaganda and the foolishness that come with being a member of this culture, this diaspora, and anybody in humanity that goes against fair treatment. I'm against that. Now, today we will talk about conspiracy of sedition. We're going to talk about the Casual Slave Act. We're going to talk about GPT chat. And as usual, I'll show you some videos about history. Today usually I do health and wellness and history. Today I'm going to do 2 videos on history. The reason I'm going to do 2 videos on history today is the number one topic. Well, my first topic of the day, Chat GPT. Chat GPT is the latest of like a social media world. It's almost like Google. As last night on the forecast, one of the people says Google on steroids. The reason I'm talking about Chat GPT is because convenience. You know, they say necessity is the mother of invention. If you need something, the active mind will create it. If you're trying to do something on your ceiling, somebody's going to create a ladder. Something and someone will make you create a ladder. We've created things like the washing machine, the dryer, the ironing board, things of that nature, the automatic transmission, the cotton gin. And we've created a myriad of things in the world because we, by and large, have been the working class of the country. So when you're the working class of the country, you're going to do something to make the work that you're doing just a tad bit easier. And if you make it a little easier, there's less stress on you, and so forth and so on. Chat GPT. The reason I said the mother of invention, necessity is the mother of invention. Convenience is the mother of laziness. I'm going to say that again. Convenience is the mother of laziness, or the father of laziness, or we don't want to be gender specific. The parents of laziness. How about that? I'll change that. The parents of laziness is convenience. Because when you make things more convenient, you mentally get lazy. If you mentally get lazy, things are being able to get put past you. If they're put past you, you fall asleep at the wheel. You fall asleep at the wheel, you die. That's it. That's all. We have fallen asleep at the wheel as a nation, the United Snakes of America. Shout out to April Showers. I stole that from her. But the United States of America, the largest crime scene in the history of the world. Well, I won't say Africa, the largest crime scene in the history of the world, but the largest crime scene in the Western Hemisphere, or maybe the entire Western Hemisphere is a crime scene. But for the sake of this, we are at a crime scene. The reason I call it a crime scene because it was a mass murders, enslavement, lies, lynching, thievery. Crime scene. It is what it is. You know, oh man, I love America. If you don't love America, get out. Okay, tell you what. For those people who will ever watch this and say to yourself, if you don't like America, Mr. H. Rap, you need to move. Tell you what, this is what I'll do. Me, I'll move. Let me see. My grandfathers run out of the South due to bigots and racism and things like that. My grandmother was run out of the South. So I want you to add up the land. And it's been written in my family records that Nat Turner's my cousin. No joke. Okay, now there was land taken from us. There have been members of my family murdered. My dad suffered the same fate. He's no longer here because somebody hit him in the head. He later had an aneurysm and I grew up without a father. I'm a dope person. Shout out to my father and my mother. But what I want to do is do the math on the money that I could have potentially earned. I've earned some good money in my life, but the focus that I probably potentially lacked, the guidance that I didn't get, and things of that nature. I want you to do the math on that, and then what I want you to do is matriculate the money. Add up the money that was matriculated. Do that. Extrapolate the money over a lifetime, and do that for my great grandfather and the people who've all suffered. And you give us all a check, all the Pollards, all the Williams, and all the people connected us. Give us an equal check and a place to go. That we have land, and we won't face tyranny that you created, and then we'll go. Otherwise, this is my land. And guess what? All you have to do me a favor. Go to Google. Look up Folsom. The Folsom people were African heritage people. They were people from the African diaspora. They were here 100,000 years ago. You took the land from them as well. So, seeing how I was here 100,000 years ago, and you only got here in 1492, I'm going to need you to just be quiet. But back to the point. The reason I'm bringing up ChatGPT is because it will make you lazy. And then you look, we're in a catch-22. And this also brings about artificial intelligence. As I continue, you'll understand my point. As I talk about this, ChatGPT is the latest toy on the internet, and it will make you lazy. Why will it make you lazy? Because now you don't have to know anything. We don't have to read anything because we can Google now. And look how lazy people have become due to Google. They don't a lot of people don't read. They suffer from clickbait. They take that clickbait, and what they do is they use that clickbait, and then they say, hey man, I can Google this, I'll read the headline, and I will assume what this means instead of reading, digesting, absorbing, letting it sit with it, and then spitting out something. What we do is inhale it, regurgitate, and then if it's right, wrong, or indifferent, we don't have anything to base it on because we haven't paid attention to it, right? Google made people lazy. Myself, lazy in regards to spelling. Now, I can do math in my head like you wouldn't believe, but spelling, I suffer from, I suffer when it comes to spelling because at the end of the day, as a child, I didn't see spelling as an important thing. So, A after E, especially after C and all that, blah, blah, blah. I can recite the letters. I can recite the rules, but I really didn't adhere to them because I didn't think that was important. So because I didn't think it was important, I could say, hey, I could just go get a dictionary. And because I could go get a dictionary, I didn't practice that. Guess what? I suck at spelling as a result of that. And I told somebody recently I was going to improve on that, and I am. I didn't forget. I just haven't started yet. Because again, I never thought it was important, but it is. When I talk about these things, I always like to use myself as an example, simply because it's easy to point the finger at you. But when you point the finger at yourself, you show people that you actually have empathy, and your point is to enlighten and uplift, not to be condescending and disrespectful. Because if I'm flawed and you're flawed and we're flawed, that means we can get better, period. But back to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like a supercharged Google. And what do I mean by supercharged Google? ChatGPT makes it easy. You can write a term paper. You can write a 12-page term paper at the request of ChatGPT. Sounds like a good thing, H-Rap. I ain't got to do all that work. The work is why some people say, hey, man, H-Rap, that was a great show. You got some great information, because I had to read that. If you have someone else do the work, you don't absorb it. If you don't absorb it, you don't ever be able to use it. You can't read it. You can't read it, ingest it, bank it, use it at a later date because somebody else did the work. They'll write code for you. Code is important for things like this. This is a code. A code created everything that you're looking at. It can do all those things for you. It can recite history, but all the history isn't in it. And this is going to sound a bit condescending, but when you have people in Nigeria doing this for $2 a day, doing data entry for $2 a day, which is outstanding for that country, that's good if they would in updating Kenyan history, and Kenya doing it for $2 a day. That'll be awesome if they would ingesting or inputting Kenyan history, because that's their history is important. They make sure all the history is there. But when they're uploading things around the world, it's not as important. And if it's not important to the people who are doing it, then at that point, it won't be important that everything is accurate and everything is on point. I'm not excoriating anybody who's doing this work. I want you to get $4 a day. I want you to get $10 a day. Point blank period. I want you to excel and prevail. But that's not the problem either. Karen Hunter, one of the people who inspired me. I get great and tremendous inspiration from Karen. Karen is a writer, one of the greatest writers of modern times. She doesn't consider herself one of the greatest, but I've read some of her books. And Karen Hunter is a swordsman with that pen, swordswoman with that pen, swordsperson with that pen. She's awesome. But Karen asked ChatGPT a few questions about Mahalia Jackson. She asked a question about Aretha Franklin. She asked a few questions, and ChatGPT told her she was wrong. And she asked her questions that, to the general populace, is, who knows? I don't know. But when you're part of this community, you can answer questions about, I do get on last night's shirt. So what? If anybody noticed that. But Sister Hunter asked questions that people in the diaspora or American Black people would know. And the worldwide people won't know, because we have certain things that's going on in our community that everybody isn't privy to, right? And when she challenged that ChatGPT, due to artificial intelligence, keep that in mind, artificial intelligence. They doubled back. Initially, they said, hey, it's not there. She said, yes, it is. They doubled back, found what Sister Hunter was looking for, and then added it to Chat GPT. Now, on the surface, that's awesome. So you can tell them they're wrong. They check, and then they'll say, I apologize. I didn't mean to feed you any erroneous information. That sounds awesome on the surface. But we don't live in a surface-driven world. The world isn't driven by things on the surface. The world is driven. Nuance is the key. Nuance is the key. Some people say the devil is in the details. Nuance is the same thing. If you don't have nuance to what you're saying, you couldn't be led astray. People do it all the time with what I'm going to do in about 45 minutes Bible study. People will give you information, a piece of information, and lead you astray. Like slaves, listen to your master. There's only one master in the Bible. But if you read that to a bunch of enslaved Africans who cannot read and they don't have points of reference, they'll think God told you to do what that white man said. And that's just a lie. But this is why I'm bringing this up. It's a catch-22. We're lazy, so we'll use Chat GPT to get information because we don't want to do all the reading and the work, not realizing that the reading and the work makes you the greatest person you can be. And I'm not telling everybody to read books. I bet if you read books like H-Rap, you'll be the smartest guy in the world. No, I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is this. I can teach you how to fish and you can eat forever. I can give you a fish and you eat for a day, right? But if they keep giving you fish, why do I ever have to learn how to fish? That's my point. In Chat GPT, what happens in the event that a lot of black people go on there and blow it up? Because Microsoft just gave them $10 billion. It becomes a multi-trillion-dollar extension of Microsoft. Ooh, they making a lot of money over there. That makes the rich and powerful get richer and the poor get lost. But the real important thing is this. If we don't get on and we don't add the nuances about our history, as you'll see in just a second, you won't learn things like this video I'm about to show you. And if you don't learn things like on this video I'm about to show you, what happens? Those things disappear and they're able to tell you the things that this person in this video is going to talk about. I'll be back in a second. I'm going to make sure you see this video because it's important. I'll be back.
Was the first great royal wife of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt. She was a daughter of Senjanre Tao, or Amhotep I, and royal sister and wife of Ahmose I. Her son, Amenhotep I, became pharaoh, and she may have served as his regent when he was young. Ahmose Nefertari, not to be confused with Nefertiti.
This is Queen Nefertiti. And this is Queen Nefertari.
Ahmose Nefertari was deified after her death. Her mummy is assumed to have been retrieved from her tomb at the end of the New Kingdom and moved to the Royal Cache in DB 320. Her presumed body with no identification marks was discovered in the 19th century and unwrapped in 1885. Two mummies were found in a coffin, one of which was more carefully wrapped than the other. The former was assumed to be that of Queen Ahmose Nefertari by the museum authorities, whilst the other was stored in a damp room, which is now buried in the garden of the museum. Maspero, at a later date, came to assume that the mummy buried in the garden was that of Ahmose Nefertari. The original ownership of the tomb has been challenged. Ahmose Nefertari died in her 70s. Similarly to Tetisheri, her grandmother, her hair had been thinning and plates of false hair had been woven in with her own to cover this up. He adds that the shape of the cranium firmly supports her foreign origin. Several authors highlight the significant prominence of Amos Nefertari's front teeth as revealed in X-ray images.
Now, this is the casing of the tomb for Queen Nefertari, the outside of the tomb. Now, we reveal to you the inside of the tomb, the mummy that was found on the inside. And here is Queen Nefertari, found in the tombs. Yes, folks, the great Queen Nefertari. Just look at that hair. Hair like wool. Hairs like lamb's wool. How could you say she was anything but a black woman? Yes, folks, Queen Nefertari. Proof of who she was. Now, you really have to be in denial and you have to be delusional if you can't see that the person buried in this tomb was a black woman, a black queen, a queen of Egypt. And whether you like it or not, she was a black queen, a queen of Egypt. And yes, Egypt is, was, and always will be in Africa.
Her body had been damaged in antiquity and was missing her right hand. According to Grafton Elliott Smith's description in 1912, the mummy's skin is blackened in the same manner as the majority of other contemporary mummies. He also associates the strands tied to her own hair with those of Nubian woman's hair at the time of this writing.
So when the tombs of the kings and the queens were uncovered in Egypt, they found that they had so many different artifacts, so many different objects, that the study went on for years and years and years. And that's why the fascination continues to this day.
That first time you take a step back.
I made that.
With your very own online store.
I sold.
Now, we often hear about the tombs of the pharaohs and the queens of Egypt. I just want to make it clear that the tombs were not just one room. It was a huge tomb with many, many different rooms and many different artifacts and many things. They had gold, they had diamond, they had silver, they had all kinds of things. Oftentimes they would have animals and different things in those tombs. A look at inside of the tomb of Queen Nefertari in the Valley of the Queens. These tombs were something to behold. We often hear that black people came from kings and queens, and this is proof. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that all black people came from kings and queens, but the fact of the matter is, many of us actually have royal blood running through our veins. We come from kings and queens. And oftentimes, during chattel slavery, they would take the kings and queens and they would make them as examples to show them that the people that they looked up to was nothing but a slave to them. And many of us don't realize that we do come from royal stock. Either we were royalty or we were in the royal court. But the fact of the matter is, yes, we do come from kings and queens and great civilizations, not just in Egypt, but throughout the continent of Africa. Yes, we have royal blood running through our veins. And I am not delusional. I do not think that all black people have royal blood running through our veins. But when we've heard that many times, we've heard the cliche that we come from royalty, that we are the true royals, well, you know what? I believe that to be so. The evidence shows that to be so. Now, I am not delusional. I don't think all black people have royal blood running through their veins. And yes, I believe that we do. And I feel that far too many of us do not know this. We don't know who we are. Imagine what we could accomplish if we only knew and act like the people that we are. And I do know that many of us have this knowledge of who we are, but I'm asking all of us to do what Marcus Garvey said. Up, you mighty race. Accomplish what you will. So yes, folks, Queen Nefertari, the black woman queen of Egypt. Whether you like it or not, she was a black woman queen of Egypt. We will now take a brief look at some of the other pharaohs and queens of Egypt and see who they said they were. King Thutmose. Findings in King Thutmose's tomb. King Ramses. There are several King Ramses. This is the tombs of Ramses II. Also from the tombs of Ramses. King Seti I, and artwork and findings in his tomb. You ever heard of King Tut? Findings and artwork in his tomb. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many of you know this, but these tombs were massive. Queen Maritamnen. Try as they must, and as they continue to do, to hide the identities. However, the mummies and the hair speaks for themselves. And you cannot deny the hieroglyphs on the walls of the many, many tombs. The Black Excellence and Abundance channel, where Black history is every day. Thanks for watching.
I'm back. This is your man H-Rap coming at you live and direct. This is Build and Destroy, where I attempt to build a community and destroy the lies and the propaganda that's around the community. The reason I showed you that is because of ChatGPT. If you don't know those things, you don't know to look them up on ChatGPT. And if you don't know to look them up on ChatGPT, and that's important to you and your culture, why would somebody who's outside of your culture add it to ChatGPT? You would systematically erase the history. Just like recently when Kevin Hart was in Egypt, in Egypt, and he made the reference that black people, Egyptians were black people, and they shut him down because they've been brainwashed and duped into believing that they are not, even though we are on the continent of Africa, even though all the hieroglyphics say we are of the Nubian culture, of the African culture, of what the nickname of Africa is, the Garden of Eden. Even though everybody traces black people to this place, the walls, as you saw on the paintings, the walls say you were black. The phenotype says you're black. Everything says you're black. They told them that they were not black. You have white people on Roland Martin saying Egyptians aren't black. So we have made this thing black a joke almost. So it's an insult. So if you don't know your history, you don't know your culture, it can't be added to ChatGPT. If this is not added, then you erase. So you're in the catch-22. Either I participate in ChatGPT, add my culture so it won't be erased, or I don't participate, and then I slow it down. I slow the advancement of this down, because we all know we as a culture over-index on most things that are social media. When the Facebook popped, when black people got on it. When the Twitter popped, when black Twitter got active. When the Instagram popped, when we got hold to it. When the TikTok popped during the pandemic, when we started doing these dances, and then it became a worldwide phenomenon. What does that tell you? When we over-index on things, and it has been statistically proven that we over-index on most things of this nature, when we do it. What's the thing? A couple years ago, I got it on my phone. I received the invitation. I got it. What is it called? It ain't part of the show, so I ain't even really stock it up. Put it in the stock. Clubhouse. We got it to Clubhouse. It became a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Again, do we want to blow up another entity and we get nothing from it? No. But do we want to have an entity that is used to obtain information that is vital to the advancement of anybody and anything and the education of everyone? Yes, we do, but it's kind of hard, right? You put yourself in a situation to whereas if you do it, you make somebody else rich and you don't benefit. And if you don't, you make somebody poor, which could potentially be your son's grandson, granddaughter, niece, nephew, cousin, neighbor, friend, or whoever. These are the things that we're fighting with every day as Black Americans. So it all goes back to one thing. Know your history. Know who you are. And when you know who you are, you know what you're capable of. We know what you're capable of. You won't allow somebody to tell you that you're less than. That's the purpose of the videos. That's the purpose of the show. That's the purpose of everything that I do. That's who I'm built for. Built for this network. Dig that. But this is why I do this, because we have to know these things. See, when you know how great your lineage is, you know no one can tell you that you're less than, that all Black people are criminals and that for lack of a better term, heathens, which only means different. But we're going to use the Urban Dictionary definition of it. And they tell you that you're less than. Again, they tell you that you can't accomplish things. And then once you find out what you come from, or who you come from, how you come from, and the things that have been set in your way so you won't know these things, then you'll understand. The only reason you deny me these things is because you deny my great. You attempted to deny my greatness. And when you attempt to deny my greatness is only to subjugate me. And why are you trying to subjugate me? To keep yourself in an empowered position. Because you understand if we're evil, I'm leaving. Or you, in your mind, because you have come from a warring lineage and you come from a lineage of lack, you don't understand sharing. You don't understand there is no urgency on the continent, because we can plant things with the average temperature being 85 degrees. We can plant things 365 days a year, and just in due time, food will grow. So there is no lack. There is no urgency, because we have everything we need. But when you come from a situation of lack, when you can only farm and do things at a certain period of time, and then you have to store things like squirrels and hoard things. And if someone comes in and tries to take it, you're fighting for it. If that's your lineage, then you may have a different way of thinking from a genetic standpoint. I'm not excoriating anybody, because at the end of the day, if all life starts on the continent and you and your ancestors moved north of the continent just on exploration and ended up staying there, that makes you genetically my cousin. But cousin, I'm going to need you to relax. There's no need for you, because look at it this way, cousin. If me and your other cousins were really about the revenge life, we would have already attempted it by now. What you need to do is look up the Bacon Revolt. See, that's something that you can't get on. You can probably get it on ChatGPT, but if you look up the Bacon Revolt, you'll understand how at one point in England, Black people and white people were working together. Black people, white people were interacting. Black people and white people were being voted in. Even over here, they were being voted into office. You had Black people who own white people as indentured servants. Yeah, right over here in America, in Virginia. Yeah, these things that are here, they're there. But if you never heard of that, you wouldn't know. And if you don't know, then you understand Bacon. Bacon's Revolt. Bacon's Revolt, guess what that was? There's this guy who his neighbor allegedly was killed by some Native Americans. So he got other people to galvanize, and then England had to send troops over here to bust up a revolt that lasted a year long. And then England said, we'll never have that again. And then they created this great divide, Black and white, them and us, natives and savages, so forth and so on. This is in the 1800s. It's documented. All you have to do is look it up. But if you don't know to look it up, you won't know what to look for. And this is why ChatGPT, it is a tool, but is it a tool or a toy? See, they present it as if it's a toy, but it's a tool. And this is what leads me into the artificial intelligence situation. Artificial intelligence is it is suspiciously dangerous. They are even getting to the point where they're saying at some point, artificial intelligence will start doing away with us because they will deem us useless. We were talking about this on the forecast last night. And at one point about 8 years ago, they had this artificial intelligence program that was running so fluently that they had to destroy it because it had upgraded to speaking a language that even the programmers couldn't understand. Oh, we got to get rid of that. But what happens if that thing beats you? We've seen this in movies time and time again. See, this comes from capitalism, aka greed. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with capitalism. Yes, it is. Capitalism got your black behind over here. You can buy into the nonsensical idea that capitalism is a good thing. No, it's not. Because people are greedy. People are envious. People are jealous. And when you have jealous, envy, and greed mixed into capitalism, then that's what you have. You have the United States of America. At that point, you're willing to poison the ground. You're willing to poison the water. You're willing to do to what you have to do to get more of what you want. And that's what capitalism leads you to. And artificial intelligence is capitalism on steroids, which could do away with you. But if you continue to make yourself sharp and keep yourself sharp, there isn't a computer on earth that can do what you can do. You're creative. A computer can create from what it has learned from you. You can create from nothing. I'm going to say that again. You can create from nothing. They can't do it. All a computer can do is mimic what you have done. You can mimic what God has done. It's a gigantic difference. So while everybody's running over, oh man, this the new smooth thing, and it's so cool. And how are we gonna do it? The microwaves, and then might be find out microwave food is killing you. Oh man, soy is the best thing popping. Soy is a meat substitute, and then you find out that you're filling your body with estrogen. You know, soy is full of estrogen. Estrogen in a man's body, too much estrogen in a man's body turns him into a woman. So, no, it ain't good. Yeah, I mean, I'm suffering from ED. I eat a lot of soy because your body has told you this stuff that you put in your body has told your body you're a woman. That's why. Oh man, we don't even have to go outside because we have this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That vitamin D that comes from that sun powers your body. When it powers your body, you get better, you get stronger. Oh man, I don't need. Man, them people crazy. They walk around with the shoes off and they look like fools. But guess what? The Earth is constantly spinning. There's a magnetic force around the Earth that is withdrawing power, and as it spins, gravity is pulling down. Guess what? It's this thing called earthing. 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 When you put your feet on the ground and the earth pulls bacteria and things out your feet on the ground. But guess what? You don't keep your feet on the ground because guess what is the number one stopper of electricity? Rubber. What's on the bottom of most of your shoes? Rubber. People, the things that are in your face every day that you think is nonsensical, they're true. There's been studies, folks. Studies that say just staring at a tree every day will lower your blood pressure. And you take 15 pills and you taking this and you taking that, but then you tell me you believe in God. Hey, Trey, what does God have to do with this? Well, you told me you could believe in God. And in Genesis, it says that God put everything on earth that you needed. Boom! How about that? But we're not going to get into religion. We're not going to get into none of that. I'm just trying to help you understand that these things that you think are convenient to you, these things that you think are helping you, these things are a detriment to you, your mental state, and your physical health. Your spirit, your mental, and your physical are always under attack when you live in the world of capitalism. Your spirit is entrapped because I don't need to be around people. But guess what? People, the human being is the only thing on this planet that needs to be around something that's just like it. What do you mean? If you take a kitten, you take a puppy, you take a man, a baby, and you sit it in the woods. The kitten's gonna turn into a cat. It's gonna meow. It's gonna chase mice. It's gonna find something to eat. The puppy will turn into a dog. It will bark, and it will just go around and do what dogs and puppies do: chase the cat innately, and bam, guess what? The baby is going to either try to meow or bark because he needs other humans around him to be the best possible example of him. Don't believe me? If you put a bunch of kids, you put that same puppy, that same kitten, and that same baby around a team of monkeys, some chimpanzees, like in the last Planet of the Apes movie. Again, that That kitten's gonna turn into a cat and meow. That puppy's gonna turn into a dog and bark. That baby gonna try to act like a monkey. Because the reason you are better or worse is because of your surroundings. You either draw directly to it or you push away from it. It is what it is. My mom, God rest her soul, she was a smoker. Never took a puff on a cigarette in my life. Didn't like it, but she smoked most of my life. About 85% of my life, she smoked. My homeboys, they drank. My cousins, they drank. I spent a lot of time around my cousin Mike and Vince. We were like brothers. As a matter of fact, their children thought, my nephew Mike in the chat room, he really thought up until 2016, he thought I was Uncle B, but I'm Cousin B. He saw it in an obituary, special cousin Brian Williams. He's my cousin? Yeah, because we were around each other. Neither one of us smoked, but we drank. Me and Vince will destroy a fifth of Hennessy. So I drink. But my homeboys, a lot of my homeboys, they smoke weed. I don't smoke weed. So either you push far away from it or you draw to it. So this is what I'm saying. These are the things. This is why people need to be around people, because when you're around people, you do like I did. My grandfather, George Williams Sr. George Williams Sr. He used to have a paper in front of him. He always had a newspaper. My cousin Mike had a newspaper. My cousin Vince had a newspaper. Guess who used to buy a newspaper all the time? Me. These are the things that inspire your mind. They trigger you. They get you doing things. They make you read. And when you read, you enhance yourself, absorbing information, being able to process information, understanding what you're reading. If people are always telling you things like me right now, you're going to get it, but it may not stick. Some of it stick, but all of it. But the things that you read, the things that you hear from listening to ebooks and things of that nature, those things stay inside you. This is why artificial intelligence, where it makes things convenient, it's not your friend. It's not, hey, like your mom used to say, everybody ain't your friend. Artificial intelligence is not your friend. I'll be right back shortly. I'll give you a little more history, and then we're going to talk about alleged sedition. I'll be back shortly. This is man H-Rap Build and Destroy. I'll be back.
Of the Ashanti people have been commented on by various authors of the past and present. The Ashanti were undoubtedly the most powerful ethnic group in the modern country of Ghana through the 18th and 19th centuries. The first foreigners in Ashanti territory made quick note of the architecture, even making references regarding its similarities with other civilizations. Traditional Ashanti architecture is characterized by elaborate ornamentation of the walls with intricate interlacing geometric designs, depictions of animals, and Adrinka symbols, popular symbols that are specific to the Ashanti culture. The Ashanti peoples are one of the most popular ethnic groups in West Africa. On the origins of the Ashanti, one cannot be sure, as there are varying oral accounts. According to the Encyclopedia of Africa, the Ashanti cluster with the Akan ethnic groups, and they belong to the Kwa subgroup of the Niger-Congo language family. Interestingly enough, one oral tradition claims that the Ashanti ultimately came from the much older Ghana or Ouagadougou Empire further north in Mali and Mauritania. Another account points to local origins. Whatever the truth may be, the Ashanti people became a powerful group once they were finally able to conquer the Denkyera kingdom, which had subjugated them by the early 17th century. After they wrested power from the Denkyera, Ashanti culture was truly able to flourish. I find it fascinating that the first European traveler to the Ashanti royal palace at Kumasi in 1819 witnessed the architectural style and was immediately reminded of Egyptian and Italian themes. He described the Ashanti palace as an immense building of a variety of oblong courts and regular squares, with entablatures exuberantly adorned with bold fan and trellis work of Egyptian character. They have a suite of rooms over them, with small windows of wooden lattice of intricate but regular carved work, and some have frames cased with thin gold. The squares have a large apartment on each side, open in front, with two supporting pillars which break the view and give it all the appearance of the proscenium or front of the stage of the older Italian theaters. They are lofty and regular, and the cornices of a very bold canework in alto relievo. A drop curtain of curiously plated cane is suspended in front, and in each we observe chairs and stools embossed with gold, and beds of silk with scattered regalia. The palace of the Santahene, or king of the Ashanti, was filled with wonders, wealth, international lore, and traditional Ashanti symbology. Decades later, when William Reed, a British historian, explorer, and philosopher, visited the Ashanti Royal Palace, he offered a little more details regarding the actual content therein. We went to the king's palace, which consists of many courtyards, each surrounded with alcoves and verandas, and having 2 gates or doors, so that each yard was a thoroughfare. But the part of the palace fronting the street was a stone house, Moorish in its style, with a flat roof and a parapet, and suites of apartments on the first floor. It was built by fancy masons decades ago. The rooms upstairs remind me of Wardour Street. Each was a perfect old curiosity shop, books in many languages, bohemian glass, clocks, silver plate, old furniture, Persian rugs, Kidderminster carpets, picture and engravings, numberless chests and coffers, a sword bearing the inscription "From Queen Victoria to the King of Asante," a copy of the Times, 17 October 1843. With these were many specimens of Moorish and Ashanti handicraft, with other curious and tasteful things too numerous for me to describe or even catalog. It's interesting that each British observer of the Ashanti Royal Palace in their remarks were reminded of other architectural structures outside the African continent. Information like this is not only historically valuable, but it challenges deeply the negative stereotypes associated with African people and their civilizations. This is why it's critical for the diaspora to study African history for themselves and not rely on mainstream narratives that still may be freighted with the age-old dark continent trope. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help in its continued production, consider supporting the home team on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.
Hey, this your man H-Route, back with Build and Destroy. We're in the home stretch right now. I want to thank you for tuning in. It's really appreciated what you're doing. Thank you for the support. Please hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, share, tell a friend, subscribe. Need you to do all 3. Hit the like button and just put in whatever in the notes. Helps with the algorithm. The algorithms push me in front of more people, put me in front of more people. We build our nation faster. We build our nation faster. We get out of this foolishness more. Now, I bet you thought that I forgot to do what I've been doing until it's going to get done. No. Just started at a different time. I am still on this mission. I am supporting House of Representative person, Lauren Underwood. What is she an advocate for? Black maternal health. How is she doing that? With the Monuments Bill. Why is that important? Because Black women are dying women in general in the United States of America are dying at an alarming rate. Again, for the 4th week in a row, they're dying at the highest rate that they've died in since 1965. 1,100 women died when? Last year. 800 of those people didn't have to be gone. 800, actually more than 800 because it was 80%. So 80%, 1,100 is under 800 is under 80% of 11. It's more like 825. 825. So with that being said, I want you guys to do this. If you know who your state representative is and the House of Representatives person is, I want you to call this number. If you don't, I want you to call this number, 202-225-3121, 202-225-3121. Identify yourself as Brian Williams, a registered voter. Not Brian Williams, because then you'd be lying. Identify yourself as a registered voter. You're an active voter. And say, I want you to support Lauren Underwood and the Monuments Bill. Please and thank you. And then I want you to hang up the phone. Call your state senator, Dick Durbin, Tammy Duckworth, if you're here in Illinois. And if you're not, Dial 202-224-3124. I am Brian Williams in the city of Chicago. I am in the 8th District in Chicago, Illinois. I am a registered voter. I vote faithfully, and I have a sister, mother, aunt, grandma, mother, daughter, friend who's a woman, and she needs maternal health care. She needs to see an OBGYN. She needs to have birthing rooms, and she needs to have all kind of medical assistance throughout her entire life. We need to get this I think it's $1.8 billion added to the budget. Please do that. Thank you. This is your man H-Rap. That's your moment in time. Now, back to what I was talking about. I got a lot of time to go. I don't have a lot of time to go, but I don't have a lot to say going forward. We talked about history. We talked about the importance of doing your own thing. It's not relying on artificial intelligence at all times, and this is the most important thing. I think I have it somewhere. I know I had it saved. And indeed I did. I told you guys, I'm not just going to give you a bunch of statistical information. And man, how we know you telling the truth, H-Rap? You don't know anything. Bam, there goes some information. I just put it in the chat room. There's an article about the sentencing of the people who messed around and found out. What do you mean they messed around and found out? January 6, 2021, a bunch of guys said, we are going to take over the United States federal government. Allegedly, they did that. Who am I gonna believe? You or my lying eyes? But allegedly, they did that because I don't have no money. I don't want to be out here like Alex Jones. and been getting sued for $900 million. Because I ain't got $900 million. I got 900 million thoughts. I got 900 million dreams. I don't have $900 million. But these guys are up. Some of these guys are up for 24 years incarcerated. Why is that important? Because they were part, allegedly, for sedition. Sedition. What is sedition? That's when you actively conspire to overthrow the government. This one guy, he helped write the Thomas Jefferson shot somebody in the head on the White House lawn for sedition. That's how threatening sedition is. When you storm the Capitol, when you run up on the police, when you attack people, when people end up dead, that's called an act against your federal government. What is the federal government? That is the governing body. Why is that not cool? Because that is trying to overthrow the government. And guess what? The leader of the Proud Boys, alleged hate group, and the leader of a bunch of them other hate groups that hate people for no reason because they woke up one morning and you're trying to do away with me. But even though your ancestors have gone all around the world and trying to do away with everybody, hey man, who knows? Back to the point. Up to 24 years in jail. Why are you talking about this, Rap? I'm talking about this because there's a war going on outside. No one's safe. And if this is the question I have. If the dudes who enacted the alleged sedition are potentially going to get 24 years incarcerated, what do the people who organized it get? If you are up for 24 years incarcerated because you acted on what I said, the last time I checked, it's more dangerous to ignite a riot than to be in the riot. John Gotti, had he not died of cancer, he'd still be incarcerated in Marion Prison here in Southern Illinois right now. It's Max Penitentiary. Because he was the kingpin of a criminal enterprise, allegedly. Sammy Bull Garano allegedly killed, he confessed to killing 18 people. And because, according to him, he did that at the behest of one John Gotti. John Gotti went to jail. Sammy Guarano, you can bump into him on any street corner in America today. This is true. So if John Gotti took the heat because he the one who set all these crimes in order, in motion, and Sammy the Bull got the short haircut, he did a little time, he got out, did a little more crime, got back in, did a little more time, but he got back, he on back on the street now. I wasn't a valedictorian, but it leads me to believe that the person who initiated the insurrection, the alleged insurrection, he should get a lot more time. That's just one to grow on. Just something to think about. And now I'm about to close out the show. What am I going to close out the show with? I am going to close out the show with something that may scare a lot of people. It may infuriate a lot of people. And it may make some people think. But this is what I want you to understand. All throughout the country, you got this dude on the train recently. I can't think of his, I don't even want to say his name. He killed his young brother, young brother Jordan. He was having a mental illness. He was having an episode. And this Marine grabbed him, choked him out, and he later on died. Why am I talking about that? It's because killing black people is legal in this country, it seems, right? It seems like it really does. You got people who this young man went home that night after killing a person, after being video. He was recorded killing somebody. You got people at convenience stores in Florida shoot a black man over a parking space. You got police officer asked Philando Castile, did he have the right to carry a weapon? He said, yeah, I do. I got my information right here. He was shot dead. Young man walking towards his car. Police officer shoot him in the back. Kyle Rittenhausen goes up, leaves my state of Illinois, goes just a little further north and shoots somebody who at a rally. You got a man in Dallas. You got a man in Dallas who shot a person for protesting because according to him, he felt. I mean, he ran him over with a car because he said he felt threatened. Why do people do this to black people? You want to ask? I'm gonna give you part of the reason. It's this thing. It's this law that was written in the 1640s. It's called the Casual Slave Killing Act. Now, I'm not calling us slaves. Don't get me wrong. We were enslaved, but we're not. That does not identify us. But they identified us that way at one point as slaves. And there was this thing called the Casual Slave Act. What was the Casual Slave Act? Here it is. Bam. And you say, God, this is a dope jam. But the Casual Slave Killing Act of 1640s, it was one time in the 1640s, it literally said any white person who felt that they had to discipline a black person could kill a black person if they felt like it, and will reap no repercussions. Meaning, if you get into a tiff with me, you don't like my tone, you can kill me because you would discipline me, you would put me in my place. If you were defending your sister from one of my sexual advances and I don't like it, I can kill you to make the example. That was the law. Oh, rap, like I was talking to some dudes I know, and I was telling them about the apartheid attempt in Jackson, Mississippi that's going on as we speak. And he told me, that'll never happen. You mean like if we took our ancestors back 500 years and you said, hey, man, y'all better watch out because they grabbing us? That'll never happen. That's probably what they said too, right? But the Casual Slave Killing Act of the 1640s allowed it a law. But then the country fought that war and we got free, man. You got to come up off that rap. You're living in the past too much. Really? Because then they converted it to the Black Code. What was the Black Code? They made it illegal to be unemployed and be a loiterer. That's when loitering became illegal. But we just fought a war. You didn't give me any reparations. You didn't give me the 40 acres and a mule and the $100 that you promised me. So either I go back and work for the person who used to own me and till his land, or I'm just going to walk around and try to figure it out. But if I walk around more than 45 days trying to figure out, you incarcerate me. Why is that important? Because if you incarcerate me, and the 14th Amendment says it's illegal to be enslaved, but if you break the law, I can enslave you. So now you got these people getting charged and they harshly penalized for being free enslaved Africans. Loitering becomes a crime. Being unemployed becomes a crime. And guess what? If you worked for Mr. Williams, and Mr. Johnson wanted to pay you more, you had to get permission from Mr. Williams to go talk to Mr. Johnson. And what was the chance of Mr. Williams giving you that permission? So if you took a chance and left Mr. Williams' farm, Mr. Johnson didn't give you what he thought he was going to give you. Now you're stuck without a job. Now you're going to go to jail, and then you're going to be working for Mr. Williams for free. So when you think, man, they just kill us like it don't mean nothing, because they come from a lineage of people they come from a heritage of people who don't think you're worth anything. And for that obligatory person that's sitting in the background right now going, but not everybody is rap. I got some cool white friends, man. Jane Elliott showed you. Jane Elliott asked a group of white people in the room who all considered themselves good old white folk. As my girl read down your favorite say, they was the righteous whiteous who would want to trade places for black people right now. Nobody raised their hand. That means that's called cognitive dissonance. Because if you know I'm getting beat, and you know I'm getting taken advantage of, and you know I'm being mistreated, but you say, oh man, you're tripping, but you don't want to switch with me. Am I really tripping? No, I ain't tripping. Because you know the reality of the situation. Folks, we must learn the rules to this game. We must play this game to the best of our abilities. And in order to get things in the best possible situation, we must play this game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I want to let you know, I got a show, me, my man, Grade A, my man, Big Mo. We coming out with a show soon called The Cheap Seats, what conversation meets culture. And soon, and very soon, I'll be coming out of retirement with Old Man Sports. To get off my lawn sports, an old man's point of view on sports. I'm back. I sat back. I watched the crowd. And I'm coming back better than ever. Giving myself 2 years to do this. I'm going to do it. Because I said I'm going to do it. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I need you to hit that like button. Hit that share button. Thumbs up it. Please hit that thumbs up. Comment like my man Jungle Brother just did. Please. It helps the algorithms. It draws people to me. It helps the channel grow. It helps the information get tighter. If I say something that you don't like, you can reach out to me at thaendofdabench, thaendofdabench, right there, thaendofdabench @gmail.com. Holla at your boy. Holla at your boy. With that being said, if you want to, I want to salute my main man. Who's Reggie O'Shea? I will go to my grave hearing that. Reggie O'Shea, a.k.a. Combat Jack, by saying what he said to close out his shows. Dream your dreams and man up and woman up and live your dreams. As life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor surround sound. I'm going to even hit my man Frankie Crocker. I can't wait to see all you good people. I hope all you good people live another 100 years. And I hope I live 100 years minus 1 day so I can never see any good people pass away. 2 fingers, 1 word. It's your man H-Rap. If you want to go far, go now. If you want to go somewhere, go right now. If you want to go far, go with somebody else. Go with somebody. You need a team to make a dream a dream. And with that being said, I want to say 2 fingers, 1 word. I need unity. I need love. I need forgiveness. We're going to unite and we're going to be better.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
You better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you.
We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream. We killing our teens, they down for this American dream. Them government schemes, they turning us to hustlers and fiends. We hustling trees, them politicians smuggling green. Chasing that cheese, got everybody stressed in the streets. Pardon me for speaking freely, let it breathe. Evangelists preach the congregations out of their seats. They writing them checks for ties, now it's people can't eat. She stripping for change for school, now she giving them brain. She used to that loot, she earning, now she giving them strain. He new to this game, but hungry, so he cooking his cane. He getting that paper, but then they gave him food to the brain. It's rules to this game, but hustlers never hustle for fame. The spirit of greed is grimy, so we struggle to change. They put us in chains to take away our African names. But if we submissive and don't resist, then who do we blame? It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't. You thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children. All our leaders is slain. They gave us Obama, but that nigga was hoping for change. But Zimmerman is killing niggas and he free. Shit is crazy, babies having these babies and getting checked. But keep the child from they pop to rip his heart out his chest. Our rappers was leaders and now they in the booth and the dress. Spitting bullshit and making more but giving us less. They taking our sound and changing ours, dumbing it down. They taking our jobs and homes and they shutting us out. They taking our kids because it ain't a man in the house. They locking us down, but soon they gon' be wiping us out. They told our women they was too independent to need a man. They told our brother he was too insignificant to advance. It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't. You thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang. Killed our women and our children. All our leaders is slain. It's all a game.